Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. And moving on, G7 foreign ministers have commenced discussions on Capri Islands in Italy, considering fresh sanctions against Iran. The agenda also includes encouraging Israel and Iran to reduce tension and enhancing assistance to Ukraine. G7 finance leaders too have pledged cooperation on Iran sanctions at a meeting in Washington. DD India's correspondent Giles Gibson provides updates from Capri.
We've had helicopters buzzing overhead and security personnel patrolling the roof of that hotel just behind me where these G7 foreign ministers' talks are taking place. The Italian presidency is saying that there will be some discussions about what they describe as stability in the Indo-Pacific region, but really the situation in the Middle East is set to dominate the agenda of these talks. So the first session of the talks, just after the foreign ministers arrived on the island, were on the rising tensions between Iran and Israel, as well as the ongoing conflict in Gaza. And there is also this growing push, especially led by the US and the UK, for there to be sanctions introduced against Iran in response to their missile and drone strikes on Israeli territory over the course of the weekend. Then on Thursday, we will see the focus shifting to discussions around protecting global shipping routes in the Red Sea, and then moving on to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine with the NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, as well as Ukraine's top diplomat Dmytro Kuleba, joining the G7 foreign ministers here on Capri, with Kuleba in particular expected to issue yet another call for help for assistance in boosting Ukraine's air defences. We're also going to see some very in-depth technical discussions around how the G7 could potentially leverage $300 billion of frozen Russian assets in the West to help Ukraine in its war effort against Russia, with European nations pushing for only the profits from those assets to be used to be handed over to the Ukrainians. A final decision not expected to be taken here by the foreign ministers in Capri, but rather by the leaders of the G7, the presidents and prime ministers, when they come to Italy for their leaders summit, which is taking place in June. Really a packed agenda for the G7 foreign ministers in terms of those ongoing conflicts around the world, but we are also being told by the Italian Foreign Ministry that there will be discussions about wider issues such as engagement with the continent of Africa, as well as how the world can govern in a better way the growing technology of artificial intelligence. Giles Gibson on the island of Capri, reporting for DD.